Mike Woodward here today. How's everybody doing? Today I'm going to be doing this video on special functions, switches, and some logic switches. This is not too hard. Once you get in here and do 3 or 4 of these, you're going to find out how easy this is, because I'm going to actually show you how to set these up for each switch. I'm going to simulate it for you so you can kind of get it figured out and have some real fun with your Taranis. So the first one we're going to look at, and we're going to simulate this right here, is going to be my SC switch. Let me click this on. Okay, my SC switch controls my GPS. As you can see, I'm in GPS mode right now because it says it on the screen. When I flick it down one, it's going to tell me I'm now in altitude mode. And when I flick it down another one, it's going to tell me I'm now in manual mode. And it's also going to read that out to me. It's going to say manual mode on, altitude mode on, GPS mode on. So you need to make those 3 tracks to get this switch to work. So let's go make these 3 tracks. Now, when you first start this out, you actually need to make your tracks before you start assigning them to switches. So I have a video on my YouTube channel that tells you exactly how to go into your Taranis Plus and make these soundtracks. So make your soundtracks first, and then you can start assigning them. So, but here's my SC switch up for my GPS. Here's my SC center and my SC down. SC center is for altitude mode. SC down is for my manual mode. So let's go in here and make one of these. First thing I'm going to be looking for is my SC up switch. And then I want it to play the track that I want it to play. So I'm going to come down here and play track. And then I'm going to go into, this is actually your SD card right here. The tracks that you made are now on your SD card. So I'm going to go in here to my SD card, and I'm going to look for the GPS. And I don't want it to repeat over and over again, so no repeat. My SC center is going to be for my altitude mode, so let's set this one up. Find your SC center switch. Play a track. Go into your SD card again and find your altitude mode on that you made. The SC down switch. Find your SC down. I want it to play the track. And go into your SD card again and look for your manual mode on. So let's just do these one more time here in the simulator. So here's my SC switch. Right now I'm in GPS mode, so when I turn my radio on, I'm always in GPS mode. And once I fly or something like I get flying, then I can switch it to altitude or manual mode. So GPS mode is on, always. Altitude mode. And then manual mode. And it's going to read that out to me every time I flip that switch. Okay, now some of these I do not have and I don't have them in order, so it's going to take me a little bit here to find each one that I've set up on each switch. So the next one here will be number 4 is going to be on my SH switch. I want it to play a track, and it's going to say starting all 6 motors. So let's simulate this. Okay, here is my SH switch. That is your timer switch. I have a video on my YouTube channel, so if you want to set this up, you can. So when you pull this down, it's going to start your motors on your 550 DJI 550 or your DJI quad. As you can see down here at the bottom down here, it says starting motors when I pull that switch. And it's also going to say that because we're going to put in that soundtrack for that. Like I said, go to that video, and if you want to download that, that means you no longer have to pull the sticks down into the center to get your hex to start. So let's set up that soundtrack. Okay, so I'm going to look for my SH switch down. I want it to play that track. And I'm going to go to my SD card again, and I'm going to look for the one that says starting all 6 motors. And then I'm going to hit no repeat. And then that's it for that one. So the next one's going to be fail-safe on and fail-safe off. So let's simulate that one. Alrighty. So we want to change this. Now that is going to be on my SF switch. That's the only 2-way switch that you have on the radio. Right now it's in fail-safe off, so you need to make a track for fail-safe off. And then when I pull it down, it's going to be in fail-safe. So the way I've set this up on my transmitter, if I'm in GPS mode, altitude mode, or manual mode, this is automatically going to override whatever switch I'm in here and automatically going to click it into fail-safe and make it come home and land. So let's set this up for the soundtrack. Okay, so here would be my SF switch down. Find your SF switch down. I want it to play the track. Find play track. Come into your SD card and find fail-safe mode on. Okay, and no repeat. Now we got to find the fail-safe off because I don't have these in order. Okay, here it is right here. That will be your SF switch up. Find your SF switch up. I want it to play the track. Find play track. Come into your SD card again. I'm sorry, it's this one here. And find fail-safe mode off. On your play tracks, again, no repeat. So let's go back up here. I have, on the next one is going to be my SG switch. Let's simulate that one. On my SG switch, that's going to be, this first one here is going to be home lock off. And when I pull it down, it's going to say home lock on down here. And if I pull it down one more time, it's going to say course lock. So we need to set up a home lock off in your soundtracks, a home lock on in your soundtracks, and a course lock on in your soundtracks. So let's find, okay, here's the SG switch up. We're going to look for that. We're going to play the track. Home lock off is one I'm looking for that one. And no repeat. Your SG center is going to be your SG center switch. Find that. Play the track. And I'm going to be looking for home lock on in my SD card. And there should be one more in here for course lock. And it's right here. That will be my SG switch down. Find your SG switch down. We want to play the track. And course lock on is what you want to find in your SD card. And again, no repeat. Okay, so that takes care of that switch right there. That takes care of your SG switch. So you know, right now you're in GPS mode and it's going to say home lock off when you turn your radio on. It's going to say home lock on when you turn home lock on. And it's going to say course lock on when you... oops, wrong switch. I'm sorry. Sorry about the mistake there. It's going to say home lock on, course lock on, and then home lock off. So we just set up all three of those for that switch. Sorry if I make a mistake here. You'll have to bear with me. There's a lot in here. Okay, so the next ones we're going to go down to, if on my SE switch, let's simulate the SE switch, which is going to be right here is my SE switch. When I turn this on, I've set this up so when I turn this on, I can now control the volume of the Taranis with this pot knob, up and down if I want. I can lower the volume or raise the volume just by turning that switch on that pot knob. So let's, if you want that, we can set that up for you. So here it is on my SE switch, SE center switch. Find your SE center switch. I want it to play the volume, and I want to set it to my S2 pot knob, and then I want to turn it on. Okay, that's pretty much for that one there. All right, the next one are going to be, I have quite a few set up on my SA center switch. I have, I think, 5 altogether, or 4 altogether on my SA center switch. I have one here, I have one here, I have one here, and I have one right here, and I have one right here. So we're going to go through all those right now on the SA switch. Let's simulate that. All of this is on all of my telemetry is on my SA switch, so all I got to do is flip it on one time, and as you can see, it says now that my telemetry switch is on. Now I put quite a bit in here on my telemetry switch, so now we're going to go through all that and set up your telemetry. Now you need, for your telemetry, you're going to need the LiPo voltage sensor from like a Loftabi sells those. So you definitely want to get that, and once you can go ahead and set this up. Then once you get your LiPo voltage sensor, you can just plug it in to your receiver, and it will start working for you. So let's just start with this first one right here: SA center, SA center, and SA center. There's 5 of them all together. So let's just go through them. Okay, the SA center. For the first one, find your SA center switch. I want it to play a value for me, and that value is going to be the cell, the lowest cell on my flight LiPo battery. And I want that to read out to me every 30 seconds on what my lowest cell is on my LiPo battery. The next one on your SA switch center, again, find your SA center switch, play a value, and then the next one's going to be cells, SELLS. And I want that value to play out to me every 30 seconds. That is going to be the overall battery. Your overall flight battery is going to read out where that's at every 30 seconds, what your overall flight battery is doing. The next one is going to be SA center again. Find your SA center switch, play the value, and this is going to be your RSSI, and I want that to play out to me every 30 seconds. That is going to be your signal strength from your Taranis to your receiver. Once you get that set up, that's going to tell you your signal strength, and that's a real must right there, because if you get out there too far, I have mine set up on 40 dB, and we're going to go into these logical switches here in a little bit and set that up. So that's those 3 right there. There is a couple more on down here. Let's find the other one, another one. Okay, that is going to be, the SA center is going to be, it's going to be play a track. Also my find the SA center again. I want it to play a track this time, and I want it to play telemetry on. So I'm going to go into my SD card, and I'm going to find out where my telemetry on soundtrack is. The next one is going to be the SA up. So when the SA up, find that SA up switch, play track, and that's going to be telemetry off. So let's simulate that real quick here. So here's my SA switch. When I pull the switch down, it's going to say telemetry on. And when I turn it off, it's going to say telemetry off. So you need a soundtrack for telemetry off and a soundtrack for telemetry on. And I think there's one more SA in here somewhere. Oh, yeah, here it is right here. SA center switch. Find your SA center again. You want to play a value again. And this one's going to, you want to find battery. Now this is for the battery that's in the Taranis. The Taranis battery that runs the Taranis. Every 30 seconds it's going to give me a readout what that battery is in the Taranis, so that way I can keep an eye on it. And if it gets too low, it's going to set off a siren, and it's going to tell me that the battery's under what I want. And in here in a little bit again, we're going to set that up in the logic switches. So that's it for that one. So that's it for those. Okay, we're going to come back to these L1s, these L2s, these L3s and L4s in just a second. We're going to go into logical switches now. We're going to set some of those up. On L1 logical switch, I have A is greater than X. Then put in cells, and then set your main flight battery to 14.4 volts. That will be 3.6 per cell on your main flight battery. So when you get down to 14.4 volts, there's going to be a siren go off and tell you that your main flight battery is getting low. So, and here's the next one. L2 is going to be A is greater than X. This is going to be your RSSI. I have mine set at 40 dB. So if my signal strength from my transmitter to my receiver gets under 40 dB, a siren's going to go off, and a voice is going to tell me that my dB on my signal strength is getting a little low, that I might want to start coming back home. The L3 is going to be A is greater than X. That's going to be cells, CELL. I want my my lowest cell to read out an alarm to me and tell me that I am now down to 3.58 on my lowest cell on my main flight battery. So that tells me right there that I need to come back and land. On L4, A is greater than X. This is the battery, and I set it to 6 volts. This is for the battery in the Taranis, so at 6 volts, it tells me that my battery and my Taranis is getting a little low. So now let's go back and set these up. Now these here you do not have to set a switch to. These are automatically going to come on and tell you when you get to each one of these levels. So there's no switch set up on these. That's your logical switches. So now we're going to go back and set the tracks up to those. So here is your L1. What I want you to find your L1. I want it to play a sound, and that sound is going to be a siren. L1 again. I want it to play the value, and I want it to play cells. So they're automatically going to read that down. When your main battery gets down to 14.4 volts, that siren's going to go off. So let's go to the next one, L2. Pretty much the same thing. Find your L2 switch, or just L2. It's not a switch. I'm sorry. Play a sound. Again, it's going to be a siren. Find siren. And L2, there's going to be another L2 there. Find your L2. I want it to play a value this time. I want it to play that value of that 40 dB. Play value. And I want that on my RSSI. No repeat on those. So let's go down to L3 and L4. It's going to be the same thing. L3 is going to play, you're going to find your L3. You're going to play a value. You're going to play cell. And no repeat. So when my lowest cell on my flat battery gets down to 3.58, it's automatically going to set off this siren. So L3, we're going to set up another one here. L3, we want it to play a sound. And we want it to play that siren when we get down to 3.58 for cell. And the last one is L4. We want it to play a value on your battery in your Taranis. And we want it to play a ring on this one. L4, find your L4. We want it to play a sound. And we want it to ring when my battery in the Taranis gets down to 6 volts. So as you can see, this is pretty easy to set up. We can keep going through some more of these. Well, let's see. We can do the 55% throttle one I have right here. So let's simulate that one. Okay, I think that would be on my SB switch. Okay, as you can see now, I'm in my 55% throttle. Even if I'm in GPS mode here, altitude mode, or manual mode, that 55% throttle is going to take over my throttle, so I no longer have to play with the throttle on that. All I have to do is give it rudder, elevator, and aileron inputs. That's really nice to have. I highly suggest you put that in there. I do have a video on my YouTube channel how to set up a 55% throttle on yours, and that's really nice for FPV. So we're going to go in here. Which one was? Okay, that would be the SB center. That's going to be this track right here, and the SB up. So we want a track to play 55% throttle on and a 55% throttle off. So that would be SB center. Find your SB, play the track, and that would be 55% throttle on. Find that in your SD card. The SB up, find your SB up, play track, and that would be your 55% throttle off. No repeat on that. Okay, I do have some tracks right here for my telemetry, which will be on my SA center. I think I might have already done this. I can't remember if I did or not, but we'll go ahead and do it again. That'd be SA center. Find your SA center switch. We want to play a track. And we want the telemetry to say telemetry is on in your SD card. Here's your SA up. We want it to play a track. And we want it to say telemetry off. All right, I think that's, we already did the fail-safe. This SE switch up right here, that would be for your volume. I think I made a... yeah, that would be that one. The SE switch here, if I turn this on, it's going to say volume control on, and now I can control the volume of the Taranis itself. We can do that one real quick too. That's real simple, as you can see. Where did it go? Oh, it's right here. SE up, play the track, and I want it to say volume on. But as you can see, we're going through these. You can set all these up. Once you set up just a few of these, you're going to see that these really come really fast, and they'll be a lot easier to set up as you come down the road. It's really easy to come in here and set these up, and anytime you make any kind of change in here, it's not a problem. You can delete these, or you can copy them even if you want. So what else did we have in here? I do have some curves set up. This would be my curve for my gimbal. So my gimbal only points straight out and only goes down. It will never come up. I don't know why you'd want your gimbal to come up, but each person is different. My gimbal only points straight out and points straight down, and that's done on the right-hand slider. I do have another curve in here. This is the 55% throttle curve for the 55% throttle switch. You would have to set that up in your mixes. That's not very hard to do. We can go through that real quick. I have a video, actually. I have a video on my YouTube channel that tells you exactly how to do that. That's a real fast, real easy one. The other curve, as you can see, would be right here that I put on my gimbal. That's real easy to do. We can edit that. I can go in here and show you how I did that. I named it gimbal. The source would be the right-hand switch. I looked for a curve. We did put that gimbal curve on curve 2, and we're going to come down here and replace that. You would always replace these, never add them, and then hit OK, and then there's your gimbal curve. So your gimbal will do exactly what you want. You can also come in here and set up a curve, so you can use a pot knob to turn your gimbal to the left and to the right. That would be the same way. You would, instead of setting that up on the right-hand slider, you would assign that. We can do that again here real quick. You would put gimbal, then you would come in here and assign it to like your S2 or your S1 pot knob. That would be S1 or S2. And that would control your gimbal to the left and to the right. If you have a 3-axis gimbal, your weight would be 100. You would have to find that curve. Then you would have to go in here and put a curve in it so it goes so far to the left and so far to the right. I don't think you want it to spin all the way around and be looking at your landing gear. So you would have to set a curve on that so it would only go so far to the left and so far to the right. And then assign it to your switch, which would be your SC switch or S1 switch or S2 switch here, or your S1 or S2 gimbal, and then hit replace and hit OK. And that would put a curve in. You would have to make that curve 2. You would have to make a curve 3. And you would just have to come in here and move these around until your gimbal goes all the way to the right, and then your gimbal goes all the way to the left. That wouldn't be very hard. I'm sure I could set that up pretty quick. I think we have pretty much covered everything in here that's really going to get you set up and get you going on how to set these in here. We did some curves. We did logic switches. I showed you a couple mixes. Here's the setup on mine. If you want to start right here, if you want to set a timer to your throttle, I have a 10-minute timer set to my throttle switch. So as soon as I start giving it throttle, the timer starts counting down. As you can see, I have a beep, a center beep for just my throttle and my left-hand slider and right-hand slider. I have a warning on all my switches and all my pot knobs to make sure that they're all back and all the pot knobs and all the sliders are in the center. So the radio won't do nothing, and nothing can come on until you fix all those switches and put all your sliders back where they belong. I think we pretty much got it covered today, guys. There's quite a bit of information right here. Here's the flight modes. If you want, let's simulate this real quick. Like I said, this is your flight modes right here. If you want it to say GPS right here, you would set that up in your flight modes. As you can see, the first one right here would be GPS, and GPS has no switch set to it. The next one would be altitude mode, and I set that to my SC switch. So let's simulate that one real quick. I'm already in here for this long. Let's just get her done. SC switch, so when I pull the SC switch to the center, it's going to read out to me altitude mode. The next one would be manual mode. So that would be, just type in manual here and assign it to the SC down switch. My 55% throttle would be on my SB switch. Let's simulate that real quick since we're here. So you can see as when I pull that, The 55% throttle is going to be right there, and it's going to be on my SB center switch. My flight mode would be my next one would be fail safe. That would be my SF switch down. We can simulate that one real quick again. That would be this switch right here. As you can see, it just jumped into fail safe. This would be home lock. I set it to a switch. Starting motors would be my SH switch. Course lock would be my SG switch. And let me see, I think my telemetry would be my SA center switch. You see how that works. That's pretty simple. To set those up so they come up here and you see them on your screen. So let's just go through them all one more time. This will be my failsafe right here. As you can see, it says failsafe. That's to the SF switch. This switch here would be my telemetry switch. This one here would be my 55% throttle switch. This would be GPS, which it's already in. Altitude, manual. This would be resetting the timer. As you can see, it just reset the timer on that. This one here would be home lock. This one will be course lock. This would be my right hand slider for my gimbal, and this one here would be my starting my motors. So that pretty much takes care of everything, guys. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know, and I'll answer them the best I can. So I hope that gets you down the road and get you going on what you need to set up, on how to set these up. This video is going to take some serious time to download to my YouTube channel because we're into almost 27 minutes now in this video. It's by far the longest video I've ever made. But like I said, I hope it helps you get a grasp on this. Once you come in here and start setting these up, you'll find out that it's very simple to do. And anytime that you want to add something to your radio, you can come in here, play a track, play a value, play a sound, and you know exactly how to set that up. So there you go. Everybody have a good day, and I hope the football's going good for you because my Chiefs are killing right now. So everybody have a good day.